Hi friends, I hope everyone is doing well. Got a little bit of a different video today. We'll be touring this 4-inch by 6-inch art journal. I made it as a sample to try 3 different design elements, and for a long time this journal sat unused. Then I found a way to incorporate it in my art practice, so I think it might be helpful to share that with you. Before we go into how I use it, let's go over the design elements in this journal. The first is this braided closure. If I remember correctly, I cut the fabric 2.5 times longer than the finished size. This design element uses a lot of fabric, but I can see myself using it for future journals. The next design element is that I made the holes in the covers 1 inch in from the spine. Normally when I use the Coptic stitch is what I use for this journal. I put the holes either 1/4 inch or maybe a 1/2 inch in from the spine. By doing 1 inch in, the thread becomes a design element on the covers. I'd like to try it again, but I'd like to use the holes in different inches in from the spine, say 1/4 here, 1/2 here, then the 1 inch, then reverse that, 1/2 here, and then 1/4 here. I think it would add a nice pattern to the covers. The final design element is that there's washi tape on the folded edge of the papers and the signatures. It's a beautiful decorative touch for exposed spine. The papers I use for this journal are 4 inches by 6-inch scrap paper from other journal projects. Normally I would have used an 8-inch by 6-inch paper, so I'd fold it over for the finished size of 4 by 6. Since this is a sample journal, I thought it'd be good to use these scraps so they wouldn't go to waste. I joined the 2 pieces of paper together, leaving about 1/8 of an inch gap between the 2 pieces so the signature would be able to fold easily. I used the washi tape to bind the 2 pieces together. This washi tape is a bit thin, so I ran into a few areas that ripped when binding. I was easily fixed by just putting more of the washi tape over that area. If I try this again, I will probably use either 1 sheet of paper instead of 2 or thicker washi tape. Let's move on to take the tour of the journal so I can show you how I use it. I started using this journal as a place to test out and record new art supplies, say like acrylic ink, pencils, and pens. Then I moved on to gluing scraps of monoprinted paper that I love the colors and textures. I probably won't be able to reproduce these exactly, but it's nice to have them in this journal as a reference. Here's more pens. Let's jump ahead a bit. These are blank. These are swatches of the Kuretake Zig Ganze Tombai watercolor. This is a good brand of watercolor. I hope to buy some more in the future, so I put it in its own signature. These glaze pens were gifted to me by a friend. And I really love using Blick matte acrylic paints. I like having the paints recorded in this journal as a reference for which ones I have now or had used in the past. I wish I had organized them by color, but at least they're all grouped together in this signature. Actually, I do have 2 new paints. Let's see, of these matte acrylics. I have dark blue deep and dark green deep. And also, I bought these core watercolors recently. I might as well do some swatching now while I have the journal out. Let me get set up and we'll do some swatching. Let's start by swatching the matte acrylics. And the reason I purchased these deeper shades is that the other paints in my collection are either mid-tone or light. I do have like the black and a deeper green, but most of them, as you can see, are mid-tone. So I'm going to add them to this page. And again, I know they're not organized by color. Maybe the next journal that I have, I'll set it up that way. So we're going to start with the dark green deep. Looks a little thin. Let me shake it up again. Well, let's see how that dries. Now we'll swatch the dark blue deep. The dark green deep looks a little patchy or a little thin up here and darker down there where I did a second swipe. So let's do a third just to see if we can get the opacity to be better. I'm going to let this dry, but at least I know now by doing the swatches that if I use this color, I might have to come back in with a couple of layers to get the opacity that I want. I came back in and did another layer of the dark blue deep. I just wanted to see what I can do about getting the opacity. So they're almost dry. So it's just good to know that with using these two colors, I might have to go in with more than one layer. So let me get set up and do the swatches for the core watercolor. So for the core watercolors, I purchased the earth colors. They were such a nice color story that I wanted to purchase those to see how they work for the first set that I'm purchasing from them. So let me start swatching. The paint swatches have dried, and it's nice to have that task crossed off my to-do list. I hope this video was helpful and interesting. It was a bit different than my usual videos. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye now.